Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's talk about a word you've probably used, a dozen times already today, and you probably didn't even notice it. But what if I told you that this tiny, super common word is actually a secret superstar of the English language?
So let's just dive right in. If I were to ask you, what's the most important word in English, what would you say? Your mind probably jumps to something big, right? Like love or time, or maybe something super functional like the or be. It's a tough question for sure.
Well, the answer we're going to explore today, it's probably not on your list. In fact, it's a word that's almost designed to be overlooked. It just works quietly in the background. You could almost call it the ultimate linguistic stealth operator.
And that word is and. Yep, that's it. The humble three-letter workhorse of our language. I know, it might not seem like a big deal, but stick with me. Today we're going to put and right in the spotlight and show you why it is an absolute powerhouse.
So, what makes it so special? Well, and is a serious multitasker. It juggles a bunch of critical jobs just to make our sentences work. So let's break it down. Let's look at the 5 main jobs of and.
Okay, here they are. It connects things, it finishes a list, it joins whole sentences together, it shows sequence, and it even helps us combine numbers. That's a surprisingly versatile little word, huh? Let's take a look at each one. All right, first up, the most basic job. Connecting two things. A cat and a dog. Salt and pepper. You and me. It's basically the simplest form of addition you can do in a language. It just creates a pair where there used to be two separate things. So simple, but absolutely fundamental. Okay, building on that idea, and also kind of acts like the gatekeeper for lists. Think about it. When you're listing a bunch of stuff, and is the signal that you've reached the final one. It gives the whole series a nice, clean finish. Without it, a list just feels, incomplete, like it's just trailing off into nowhere.
Now, this is where and really steps up its game. Here, we see it graduate from just connecting single words to connecting entire thoughts. It literally stitches 3 separate actions into one single, fluid narrative. It's like the thread that weaves a bunch of simple sentences into a much more complex story.
Okay, this next one is a little more subtle, but it's super important. And can also show a sequence of events. It can imply cause and effect, or just simple chronology. The alarm went off and I woke up. It's basically doing the same job as the word then, but it does it in a much more compact and natural way. It's pure efficiency, right there.
And finally, we've got a very specific job. You see this a lot in British English, but also often in American English too. And is like the required grammatical glue for numbers over 100. Saying 235 just feels a bit naked, doesn't it? That little and is a small but totally crucial piece of the whole numerical puzzle.
Okay, so we've established and is a really hard worker, but that's only half the story. All of these different jobs have earned it a very, very special status in the English language, especially when you start thinking about English as a global tool for communication. Now, to really get why, we need to talk about something called Basic English 850. This is the special list that was put together way back in the 1930s. It's just 850 essential English words. And the whole point was to create a simplified version of English that anyone could learn pretty quickly and then use for clear communication, in international situations.
Just think about that for a second. Out of the hundreds of thousands of words in the English dictionary, only 850 made the cut. That is an incredibly exclusive club. And can you guess which humble little connector is a card-carrying member? You got it. Our word of the hour, and.
And hey, its importance isn't just limited to that one list. It's a superstar across the board. It shows up on all these other major frequency lists that linguists use, like the British National Corpus and the new General Service List. So basically, all the experts agree this word is absolutely essential.
Here's a cool little detail for you. And is kind of like a linguistic chameleon. It actually changes how it sounds to fit in. So when we really want to emphasize it, we say the full word, and. But just in the natural flow of a sentence, it shrinks down to a quicker sound, like in ham and eggs. It's constantly adapting to its surroundings.
So what's the big takeaway here? Why did we just spend all this time talking about a tiny 3-letter word? Well, it all comes down to the power of simplicity.
We often think that to express complex ideas, we need to use complex words. But and teaches us that the exact opposite is true. The strongest, clearest communication, it's almost always built with the simplest tools. These small words, they're the bedrock of our language.
And ultimately, that's its real job. It doesn't just connect words, it builds entire worlds. It takes all these individual little bricks of meaning, nouns, verbs, ideas, and it acts like the mortar that holds them all together, creating the very structures we use to think, to argue, and to tell our stories.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? And is this absolute titan just hiding in plain sight? So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. What other, simple, everyday words are out there, doing way more work than we ever give them credit for? Thanks for joining this explainer.